Will students around the world do what world leaders have failed to do? Will they stop the war in Gaza? Since last week, we've been telling you about the protests in prestigious US universities. The fire is now spreading, by the way. Let's show you what's happening in Europe. The visuals on your screen are from the Sciences Po University in Paris. As you can see, Palestinian supporters have occupied the university campuses. One of the students also started a hunger strike, in fact. More are expected to join in. Now, what do these students want? They want their university to review ties with Israel. Some have demanded to cut them off altogether. But the Sciences Po University has rejected their demands, so now the students are staging a sit-in. Things have turned violent. Police entered the university campus to remove the student activists.
Free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! C'est l'humanité qu'on assassine! Free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Students in Australia have also joined the movement. Hundreds of protesters have staged rallies at the University of Sydney campus.
Gaza! Free, free Gaza! Free, free! From the river to the sea! From it will not rest! Disclose! Divest! All universities must divest! Use it first!
But it wasn't just Palestine supporters who voiced their demands. Several hundred meters away and separated by lines of security guards, hundreds others gathered for a counter-protest, holding Australian and Israeli flags.
What we do as students matters. It matters that there is a student movement being built all around the world, made up of millions of people who are refusing to be complicit in this genocide. And I wish solidarity to all of the fellow student activists who've been involved in this fight world over.
That wasn't very funny.
Sign! You're condoning genocide! Shame UFT! Shame, shame!
Ether was not colorful and accessible.
The protests have also spilled into America's neighbor, Canada. Palestine supporters have set up an encampment at the University of Toronto. What is the mood on the ground? Listen into this voice.
We are witnessing some of the most horrendous crimes of our lifetime, and we feel as though we are paying for them because our university is taking our tuition money without our consent and investing it in companies that contribute to the suffering of the Palestinians that we're watching on live TV.
And as a student who is graduating and set to graduate, you know, having the university that I attend be complicit in the destruction of every single university, all 12 universities in Gaza, is really, really appalling. You know, I'm graduating and it's a really exciting moment for me, but there's thousands of other students who are just like me, but aren't able to graduate because their universities have been destroyed. They aren't able to celebrate because their families have been killed and murdered.
The fire is spreading, but it's still burning the brightest in American campuses. Despite relentless crackdown by the police and counter-protesters, the students of University of Columbia are continuing their demonstrations. They are not backing down, even in the face of violent clashes and arrests.
Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
I know, you guys.
The police is firing stun grenades and flashbangs, tearing down encampments, but the protesters are giving a tough fight.
I'm not scared. I feel that we're witnessing a moment in history, and I'm actually grateful that I'm at Columbia at this moment and at a time when we can report and experience that.
You see, these students are filled with empathy for the Gazans. They are calling for peace. And this sudden shift has reached a point where lawmakers have been forced to pass a bill. It's called the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act. The House has passed it, and now it will go to the Senate. And if it becomes a law, it would codify a definition of anti-Semitism created by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. Critics warn that the expanded definition could be used to stifle the campus protests. You see, the US is doing everything to suppress the protests. President Joe Biden has finally broken his silence. Listen to what he said.
Dissent must never lead to disorder or to denying the rights of others so students can finish the semester and their college education. Look, it's basically a matter of fairness. It's a matter of what's right. There's the right to protest, but not the right to cause chaos.
Joe Biden does not support the protests. Yes, the president of a democratic country is saying all of that. What happened to freedom of speech, really? When opinions clash, yes, there will be chaos. But it's on the universities to create a safe environment for everyone, and it should not come down to calling the police. History is proof. American universities have had the power to stop wars. That's what happened during the Vietnam War. Student activists and unions had a key role to play. While the current protests do not match in scale, it seems like a start of something much bigger. Any further escalation could torch the situation. And while President Biden believes the protests should end, what also needs to end is the war in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is still planning to attack Rafah, despite Hamas's willingness to negotiate. The Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh is discussing Gaza truce talks with Egypt. He's also sending a delegation to Egypt for further ceasefire talks, but the war in West Asia continues to rage. So do protests in the US and Europe? Will students bring an end to the war?
To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.